So, artistic work, designs, and brand symbols. It encompasses key series and like patents, copyrights, trademarks, and trade secrets, granting creators exclusive rights to use and control their intellectual assets. By providing legal protection, IP law encourages innovation and supports economic growth and prevents unauthorized use of exploitation of these creations while balancing public access to knowledge and technology. Before I proceed further, let me take a brief moment for the introduction of my organization. SEMS Welfare Foundation, a registered non-profit organization, is dedicated to social impact across various sectors. We focus on education, particularly skill development and entrepreneurship. Through our initiative, Digi Saksham, we have created training programs in IT, finance, retail, and entrepreneurship, impacting over 6,000 individuals. We are currently upskilling inmates in Haryana jails and collaborating with universities and colleges. We have also partnered with banks to place over 1,500 candidates in jobs. STEM Leads, another STEMS initiative, empowers women through workshops and stories of successful female entrepreneurs. We conduct programs on digital literacy, marketing, and career development, reaching over 1,000 women across multiple states. This initiative recently reached a milestone of 100 women actively involved. In just a short time, SEMS has established itself as a force for positive change, equipping individuals with skills for employment and promoting women's leadership in various industries. Now, let me take this wonderful occasion to publicly present and welcome Ms. Akshay Gayatri Rao, the keynote speaker for the today's international webinar. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your introduction, Nida. Thank you for welcoming me.
Few lines about the speaker. Akshay Gayatri Rao is a skilled strategic people manager with a passion for human resource law and policy research, a tech enthusiast and dedicated social activist. She advocates for mental health awareness and regularly speaks on workplace dynamics and well-being. Her diverse expertise and commitment to positive change make her a strong voice in her field. There are many gems and diamonds in this world, and one of them is here to help us build this event. With this note, I, Nida, on behalf of SEMS Welfare Foundation, would like to give my heartiest welcome to Miss Akshay Gayatri Rao, ma'am, with a huge round of applause for joining us today. Your presence has added to the significance of this event, and we are genuinely honored to have you here, ma'am. Now, over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nida. So thank you so much for
Okay,
all
ma'am.
the team members who are all here. I hope I can start from now.
Yes,
So
ma'am, please.
yeah, thank you so much, Nida. So hi guys, this is Akshaya. Thanks for welcoming me and thanks for having me here, ACMS team, and thanks in advance for all of the audience who are going to be here and going to hear me in this hour. So this is about intellectual property. I'll be sharing the screen. In the meantime, I would like to know about the type of people whom I have here so that we can discuss over that topic, because as intellectual property is one of the big thing to be discussed, it will be correlating with different domains. So if it is a person who is from law background, we need to ensure that the discussion related to that. If it is anyone related to science background who is looking for their own patents, they can just let me know over here in the chat so that we can have the discussion related to that. So I have just left a sample message like Akshay Gayatri Rao, Tamil Nadu, from Human Resource. Please let me know which state are you and which department are you also, so that I'll just be a little more familiar and this session will be more interactive as well. And if you can open your camera, please feel free. So even if you are not in a good space, that's fine. I'll be sharing my screen as well, and I'm expecting the responses over there to make this session a little more interactive. So please give a thumbs up if the screen is visible and you can see the screen of mine. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, can you redo it? Ma'am, it's stuck.
Okay, just a second. Just a second. Sorry for the interruption, guys. Now, please. Yeah, cool. So, we are using many type of products and services every day, from getting up till going back to sleep. From birth till our last breath. So brands are everywhere. So why brands matter? So is that really a matter of discussion, or why do you want to really have a patent, or what that intellectual property mean? So now we can see the screen, and there are many things, many icons listed over here in the screen. In the screen, so we have many products and services every day, from getting up from bed till going back to sleep, right? From birth till our last breath, brands are everywhere. So why does really a brand matters? Is that really a matter of discussion? Let's see more into it. So can you identify any of these brands? Can you just quickly put it in the chat box, from Coca-Cola to Google to HP? If you have used anything in your day-to-day life, so please just ping, I've used this. We follow many brands even without noticing it. So those brands are built by the companies, maybe through various strategies. Maybe it has erased from its values, and with their exemplary services, their innovated products, marketing, and their goodwill, which they have erased from their good services and their products, which are intangible and invisible in the normal eyes, and it has not, it was just seen as a logo in the initial stage. But what makes a logo as a brand? The whole things which I have listed and mentioned till now, so these are the identifiers through which we as a people connect to the business, maybe the products, services, or a business. So these identifiers build a brand and represent a brand based on how the business, and based on their goodwill, based on their popularity towards the people. So we,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes.
Ma'am, your camera. Yeah, now it's on. Never mind.
So, please let me know in the chat which brands you have already used, so that we can connect to the brand first. So, I'll start with a small story. My mother is always a brand person. So, whenever she is into any brand, she'll just stick to it. She doesn't go anything out of it. For an example, if she wants to buy one detergent, she'll just stick with Surf Excel. If she wants to buy sugar, she'll stick to Paris Sugar only. So these kind of brands, which is mixed with my day-to-day life. So do you follow any of these brands like this, which intentionally or unintentionally? Let's go ahead with, if we want to say anything related to paste, we'll just make connection with Close Up or Colgate. If we want to connect anything with flights, we'll just simply say Air India. Even though there are many, Air Vistara is there, Kingfisher was there, but we don't connect with that. Simply we'll connect with Air India. Do you know why? It's just because it's not just the business, but it's a brand built by the goodwill through their innovation or their best services. Yes. And which was the costliest coffee and why? The same coffee through the same coffee bean. This coffee makes 250 rupees in this bill, and this coffee it's just 25 rupees. Both are coffee, both were with the coffee powder, maybe both are from the place where maybe some the same estate itself, but still why it is 25 rupees alone, but why it is 250 rupees, and why as a consumer we are ready to pay from 25 to 250? It's just thinkable, right? So it's just because of the brand which is there in the cup. We'll just believe this brand gives the best value for our money. As this one doesn't have any brand, we'll just believe and we are ready to take risk. Always, if it is cheaper, we'll just think that the product doesn't have value. And if it is with a brand and we are ready to spend, believing that that brand will give us the justice for what we have. So which makes a normal tea or coffee 25 rupees and the Starbucks wala for 250 rupees, right? So which makes the same coffee bean as the costliest coffee. And this brand, these things, whatever we are speaking about all these time, this is intellectual property. Intellectual property refers to legal rights that protects the creations of the mind. That's why we say intellectual properties. It's not a tangible property like a table or a chair. Rather, it's an intellectual property we used to think out of mind. And these includes innovations, inventions, literary and artistic works, designs, symbols, names, images used for commerce. Anything related to trade, from our inventions to literary and artistic works to the design, symbols, images, whatever which is building our brand is an intellectual property. So this intellectual property gives us the right, if we have our ownership, it gives us the right to allow the creators to control the use of the creation and the benefits out of their innovation. Say for an example, again, let's go ahead with this coffee example itself. We are having coffee more than 100 and 150 years, right? We don't know who is the first person to make coffee from this. We don't know who is the first person who made a brand out of the coffee in our regular day. So, who made this as a habit? We really don't know. Who found this procedure that we need to put coffee powder, milk, and we need to hit it? We don't know. So, if the person would have had their intellectual property registered, so he or she might have got the benefit out of the process, the coffee making process itself. So end of the day, even the Starbucks or the local tea, local coffee will be able to use the name of that coffee provider only. So intellectual property has many divisions. We're just adding everything as intellectual property, and we are collectively saying it as an intellectual property. But there are many different divisions in it. So what could be the intellectual property? The first one is industrial design, and second one are copyrights, and third one are plants. Plants is not the industry's machinery plants, but rather than what are all the plants we used to see in our day-to-day life. So there are three wide divisions, which is industrial designs, which include patents, trademarks, trade secrets or service marks, and fourth one is utility model. And in the copyright is the ownership given to the creator for the artistic works. For an example, for film, for music, for any other thing. And plants are for biodiversity. If I am the person who used to find the benefits, or if I am the person who used to find a new varieties of plants, so those comes under this, which is new plant varieties and traditional knowledges. So I, as an engineer, if I want to register my patent for any of my robotics project, let's assume if I want to make a project out of this headphones, so maybe the model of the headphone or the design of the headphone, that will comes under patents. But this is registered as a trademark. And what are all the things related to this? Maybe the blueprint of this headphones comes under trade secret, which even my competitor doesn't know. And service marks are the marks which is built by the brand who used to give the services apart from physical trade. For an example, Amazon, or for an example, any SaaS companies. Let's assume Google. The right example could be Google. They don't exchange any product, but they used to do services. It's a SaaS product. So those are service marks. That emblem, which is registered as the trademark, but it's not a trademark, we can say that as a service mark. And utility model, let's assume the design of this purse or design of this zip, so that comes under utility model. And the plants, the new varieties of plants which is found through research and development, maybe the golden rice, or maybe the new varieties of wheat which is found through research by ICA or whatever. And the traditional knowledge, the traditional knowledge is the knowledge which is transferred from the generations to generation, and it is followed by the tradition. It's like whenever I am with the cough, my mother will say, put some haldi in milk and drink it. So that traditional knowledge. So those are all the intellectual properties. So from tomorrow, whatever you are seeing, so you can able to divide between which is the patent, which is the trademark, or which is the traditional knowledge, or which one was given the intellectual property rights for plant varieties or whatever. I hope you guys are clear with these things. Please give me a thumbs up to know whether you guys are able to follow up these. Yes. So let's go into patents. So patents are the things which is used to protect our inventions. So granting exclusive rights typically for 20 years. So every patent, which might be a utility patent or provisional patent or design patent or plant patent, whatever, those patents will typically have the rights of 20 years. So if I'm a person who used to find the combination of any medicine, I can register a patent for 20 years, and after 20 years it will be revoked and it will grow globally. So I can control how to use and how to make, where to use, who should use, and what price it could be sold, everything as a patent owner up to 20 years only, because these inventions are made to make the life easier, right? If that is out of cost, if it is too costly for a normal person to have the usefulness of a product, then the invention will lose its value also, right? For that reason, almost every government, from the period of TRIPS agreement, from the period of the discussion to make these patents, it was made typically from 15 to 20 years only. So for an example, I as a medicine manufacturer used to make a R&D and found one medicine for cancer people. As a pharmaceutical company, I am selling it for 150 to 200 rupees, but the actual cost, the production cost will be 1 rupee only. But to have my profit, as I have researched, I have spent my time, I have spent my energy, I have spent my money on it. So typically for 20 years I can fix any range. So maybe I can keep it for 20 rupees or even 2000 rupees or 20,000 rupees. That's why whenever we heard that COVID medicines are coming, vaccinations are coming, we might have heard too many things, like this medicine is found by this country, so this medicine, this vaccine is found by this country, Covaxin is by Russia and this one is by US, and that country is not giving the vaccination for Indian people at low cost because they are fixing the variety of they are fixing the price which is not affordable for everyone, but it's a life saving vaccine. So what we made our own research and we found one type of vaccine for us. So for patent holders, they can decide anything up to 20 years, and what will happen after 20 years? It will be revoked. So whenever we are going for any medical shop, if you find any medicine which is so costlier, which means that is from the original manufacturer, which the you are not just paying for the cost of the medicine but also cost of the research plus the profit plus cost of the time effort whatever they have made. If a medicine is cheaper, which means the patent has been revoked and we are just paying for the cost of the medicine. The patent can be four types, which is utility patent, provisional patent, design patent, and plant patent. The utility one, provisional one, and design one, all three are in India, but the plant patent is not in India. So it is just for the US jurisdiction, it's not in Indian jurisdiction for our information. So the notable patents which we can see is Edison's bulbs patent. So that yellow color round bulb, no? So that bulb patent is owned firstly by Edison, and the Wright brothers have their patent for their first aeroplane model. And Fleming's penicillin patent. Penicillin, we might have heard, that is one of the pharmaceutical product. So Fleming's patent is for his penicillin invention. And of course iPhone design, that matte finish, that iPhone emblem at the back, and internal know how and do how, everything was patented by Steve Jobs as iPhone design patent. And we have more, so Ford and many notable patents from pharmaceutical industry. For an example, vaccines and Tesla's electric power transmission patent. So how the car used to have the things inside, that to how the motor works, those are all also have has registered as patent. So if I'm an engineer, I have anything in my mind, if I found any cracking innovation in my mind, suddenly if I think anything, I'll just test it, I'll just try it out. If it is working, first thing we need to do is register a patent, check whether it is already there. If it is not, just have a patent before you share it to someone else, so that you can save your invention of you on your own, else there are opportunities that somebody could claim. And the second one is trademark. I hope you remember the first slide, which is with so much of emblems. Those are just symbols, the logos and the names that can be from services or goods. I hope you guys are aware of, you guys remember this slide. So from Visa to Warner Brothers, from Pizza Hut to HP to Nike, McDonald's, whatever. So all these are patents. All these are patents in the form of trademarks. Some trademarks will have their name also You can just close your eyes and imagine their Amazon's emblem. It will be written as Amazon, and the arrow mark will go from A to Z. So that model will have the names and as well as the logo. That is one type of trademark. And another type is McDonald's. It's just M with red background. That is just a symbol and it doesn't have any name. So that is just a symbol trademark. So it was registered, and if anybody was using it, let's assume not just McDonald's, Trump is having one shop and he can also use the term, but not with the same background or the same design. If he is using, McD can sue that Trump. It's just because we as a customer believe what we see, and these images plays a major role in any business and marketing, and the business runs on these goodwill. These logos represent the goodwill of the whole brand. If somebody is taking that, which means they have stolen or trying to they're trying to steal the whole brand image itself, which is adverse for any business owner. So as myself, if somebody is stealing something, I'll just say don't do. What if it is an intangible thing like a goodwill of a business, and those goodwills are represented by the logos, and we can correlate it to it. And if somebody is using our business name which is registered as a trademark, or the emblem of our business, or our symbol of our business, which means they are trying to steal our business itself, so we can sue them. So product mark, service mark, collective mark, certification mark, shape mark, patent mark, and sound marks are different types of trademarks. So certification mark, let's assume for an example, we can say that ISI, that trademark which we say, that authority, the Indian Standard Institutions emblem, ISI, that is a certification mark. Or that hallmark symbol, anybody can't use it, only that institution can use it. So that comes under certification mark. And the patent mark, which is a kind of patent which is used in every models of a phone. Let's assume, for an example, in a remote, 1 2 3 4 5, the green means on, red means off, those kind of patent in any remote, a TV remote or AC remote, whatever. That is one type of patent. And sound mark, even in the Google Meet or in the Teams, what we are right now, if we get any call, no, we will get one sound, tone 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 kind of sound. That is a sound mark. It will just be with the Microsoft Teams. We can't use it in Skype. We can't expect that in Skype. So that sound mark is trademarked in Microsoft Teams, and Microsoft Teams owns it. And copyright, what we are discussing about sound mark at last. The sound mark, as I said, it was registered under Microsoft Teams. We might have heard, we all of us have heard that incoming sound from Teams call, right? Just give a thumbs up if you have heard. So we have heard that sound, and I said it was registered as a sound mark in Microsoft Teams. But who made this? Who is the person made this tune, right? If the owner of this tune raise a claim of this ownership, that will comes under copyrights. Copyrights are typically for literary works, maybe authorship or music or anything else. Maybe movies, music, artistic works, or anything related to the design, anything related to drawing, anything related to creation of artistic stuff. So copyrights helps us to protect the original works of authorship, and these are all some of the things which we have heard already. In movie film industry, we will simply say this movie, this scene, I have seen that in another movie. The fighting scene resembles something else. This movie story is taken from Hollywood movie. So those kind of discussions we have heard every time, right? And if I am a research person, I can see many doctors here, and of course you might have done many research, you might have done many paper, you might have written in many thesis, right? There we will check plagiarism. We'll just put it into some tool and we'll check the plagiarism. We will find whether it was already written by someone else, or is that us. And if it is written by already someone else, at least we need to give the credits. If not, it will go as plagiarism, right? So those kind of things comes under copyright. And one of the famous movies, I've taken two examples just because to keep the things more generic, the Barfi movie. So critically, the Barfi movie is directed by Anurag Basu, and multiple scenes are inspired by the films such as Notebook, Singing in the Rain, City Lights, which is released in many various periods. And it was set for plagiarism accusation because those movies have their own copyrights, so that nobody should copy the scene or the story of the movie, or nobody should redo it and make profit out of it. If they do, they need to they need to have the permission, they need to take the written permission, they need to pay a prescribed fee for the owner, and then they can do it. Simply we will say no, this movie got famous and one director or producer got the permission or hold the rights to remake the movie. We'll just simply say this director have the rights to remake the movie from this director. So that is not just right, that the whole full form is copyright. So whenever you hear it in future, you can correlate it with copyright. In this Barfi issue, no legal action was taken, and just the copyright infringement of Indian film industry was discussed too much during that period. And one famous movie. So it was remade, re-released, translated, dubbed in various languages. Amir Khan's movie, 3 Days. I hope everybody is aware of that, at least seen once in your lifetime. If not, at least you have heard this title of the movie. The blockbuster film. It was accused of being having the adaptation which is unauthorized of a best-selling novel which is Five Point Someone. The author of the book Five Point Someone, Chetan Bhagat, claimed that he has not given the proper credit of the story, and the issue was widely discussed in the media. And the film producers of the movie 3 Idiots, they just maintained that it was lightly connected, but it's not the exact same story, so it's not a copy. So but still, the one line of the story and this one was the similar one. So the Chetan Bhagat claimed that he has not given the permission to make story. I mean, not given the permission to make his story as the movie. And even if it is done, he has not given the rights or the proper credits of his story. So as just because it's an literature one, the rights is copyrights and it was not given to him. The credit was not given. So than this, in our normal day-to-day life, we have seen many things. There are many YouTube channels which we are following. We are, even if we don't follow, even if we don't subscribe, it will come whenever we scroll upwards. Some kind of content will be similar to some other's page, and the ownership will flag it. The person who is the owner of the content will flag it, and the content will be removed. You might have heard that discussion. And all of these is just because of the copyright issue and GI tax. So till this time we were discussed too much and GI tax. Please let me know what are all the GI tax you know till now in the comment section. I'll be happier to discuss more into it. So we have nearly many people. So can you anyone put anything related to the GI tax which you are aware? Any GI tax? I'll be glad to know here. Anyone please? Yes, Tirupati Laddu. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. So Tirupati's laddu and Rashagulla. Maybe it's with Odisha or West Bengal, whatever. The fight which has happened, and finally it was said as it was not Odisha's Rashagulla, but it's West Bengal's Rashagulla. And Darjeeling tea, as Vikas Yadav said, and many are there. And let's assume Padni's Panchamrit and Guntur's chilies or the momos from Nepal, whatever. So there are many tasty things which is related to GI tax. So GI tax is a term with the full form is geographical indication. It is not the patent. I mean, the reason which I have not listed in the first slide is because it is not a patent, it's not a copyright, it's not anything related to biodiversity also. It's man-made many times. 99% of times it's man-made. Only few time it is connected with some other thing. It is just known for its locality, it's known for its variety, it's known for its the experience many times. Whenever we close the eyes and we'll have the tea, there is a difference. Just because it is made with the same type of tea, it is not similar to Darjeeling tea. It was different. Just because it's Rashagulla, it's not West Bengal's Rashagulla. It's different. The texture is different. The taste is different. We can take, of course, there is a discussion between many things, especially with the Tirupati Laddu these days. But the Laddu which is given in the temple is Tirupati Laddu. That is GI tag. Even though the taste is similar, it is not Tirupati laddu which we buy in the sweet stall, right? And the momos, even though we get it here, it is from whatever we have it from Nepal. That one was the authentic one. Even though we get jasmine flowers anywhere, that Madurai's jasmine flower is famous. Even though we used to get chilies anywhere, there are many varieties of chilies. The Kashmiri chili has its own aroma and taste, and the chilies which is from Guntur is totally different from those, right? And the chilies which is from Bedige, that is also so different. So we are directly getting into the stuff GI tags. The tastiest part, which मेरा मनपसंद का topic. GI tags indicate that product has a specific quality and or a reputation or both sometimes due to its geographical origin. So the specific quality which Mysore silk has is different from the silk which is from Assam, right? So the specific quality or the reputation. Mysore silk is known for its softness and Assam silk is known for its design. So the specific quality and the reputation is synced with GI tags. And there are many products, as I said, as we have discussed right now, there are many places they have got the GI tags. So Banarasi silk and blue potteries from Rajasthan and Chanderi silks from Madhya Pradesh and embroidery from Maharashtra, the Sholapur embroideries, cheddars, and Kanjivaram silks, Kullu Manali's Himachal Pradesh shawl, and Madhubani paintings from Bihar, and Ikkat saris, Ikkat designs which we used to have it in textile industry. It's from Orissa, and Pochambali Ikkat is different from Orisha's Ikkat. So this is how where the difference come from. So these GI tags are often connected with, yes, Pashima shawl. The texture of Pashima shawl is so different. So whenever we used to buy any of these things which is so authentic, people used to claim as this person, I mean, this item is from there just to what do we say? It's just to increase the price. Sometimes, most of the times, the foreigners are foreigners used to get faked out of these things. They, as we don't know the difference between the original product and the duplicate product, the people, the tourist scams used to rise just because of this. So, who used to really apply GI tags first? So GI tax is not applied by one single person, rather it was applied by the whole state. And those GI tax is for unlimited period. Unless it was not revoked by the court of law, it is for the lifetime. Unlike the patents which is for 20 years, 15 to 20 years, and unlike the trademarks which is we need to update it every 10 years once, it is given for the lifetime, but still we need to again apply and renew it for every 10 years and all. But this GI tax is for continuous period of time, and maybe it's for every time. So there is a black chicken which is in Chhattisgarh. Even the blood, their beak, their skin, everything was black, and it was known for its medicinal property. After Chhattisgarh has got the approval for the GI tag of that black chicken, the rate which is from 500 per kg has grew up to 10,000 per kg, just because it has got its approval from the people, and it got its recognition, which is yeah, I think the PPT is visible now. Can you please let me know if the PPT is visible?
No, ma'am, it's not visible.
Okay, just a second. Now, Nida, is the screen is visible now?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yes, thank you so much. And sorry for the interruption. And we are in GI tags, and we are discussing what are all the importance of GI tags. So as we are not just paying for the products, and we are paying for the brands as well. So we need to make sure we are buying the authentic product. We need to make sure we are having the original product in our hand. For that, there are many various steps that we can discuss in some other time. And for now, as an overview, we have seen about patents, we have seen what is trademark, we have seen what are all the utility models. Utility model is nothing but how the product should be used. For an example, it's a simple example, safety pin. It's just the pin. One of the lady who just made the curves while she is sitting aside, lonely while doing something else, and she has thrown somewhere else, and person who found that somewhere, and he has registered for the patent, and now we have safety pins everywhere. And the utility model best example is safety pin. Sometimes the trademarks and trade secrets will correlate. Trademarks are the designs or the emblems which we used to see, and the trade secret is how and what is the product is actually. So trademarks is Coca-Cola's that Coke symbol. The trade secret is nothing but how the Coke is made, what are all the ingredients inside the Coca-Cola. So those trade secrets is not shared with anyone. If it is leaked, still as a part of intellectual property, we can claim defamation. I mean, we can make a suit, we can file an injunction, and that company can make the cease of that product. So we have discussed patent, we have discussed trademarks, we have discussed what is trade secrets and what is utility model, and we have seen the copyrights as well. And now we are here in the plant. So the BT brinjal, whatever we used to see, or the golden rice, which we have discussed, or the cotton, BT cotton, what we have heard. So those things are new varieties of plants. IR20, IR30, or some other plant varieties which we used to hear, or the basmati rice variety which is from Himachal. Those are the plants which is having their patents for the plants. So those are also those are said as plant patents, and the person who is the person who made the research and found that, he holds that patent. And the traditional knowledge, as I said before, the things which we used to do out of our traditional knowledge without any specific documentation, those are traditional knowledge. So we might have heard, we all of us have heard somebody, some person out of our country, we from our granny's time, and we even before, we know what is the anti fungal or antibacterial properties of a neem under turmeric. Just a foreigner just came and he has applied patent, and even for having a soap out of that turmeric or neem, we are paying the patent for that person. So for that, Indian government has made one portal to transcript and update all the traditional knowledge into a particular into a particular portal out of ICAR department. I mean, Department of Scientific Research under ICAR Institute, and there they have transcripted all the traditional things related to the traditional knowledge, with our traditional knowledge related to Unani, Ayurvedic, Siddha, whatever, everything was being updated over there, so that no other person in future come and raise the claim of that patent. End of the day, when somebody is registering any patent, they'll just cross check with their previous records, whatever there in the document, and if not, then only they'll give the patent from now. So that is the new process, and in next step which is taken by the government of India to stop other people claiming from what we have already as a traditional knowledge. So we might have heard the bald people, that Adivasis hair oil, right? So those were part of traditional knowledge. So the Adivasi hair oil, wherever you go, wherever you see, that YouTube ad will keep on coming. If you are bald head, if you in some point of time, if you just Google it, like dandruff or hair fall, that Adivasi ad will come on your search in next 1 or 2 days. So that is an example of traditional knowledge which they are marketing it, and they have made a patent out of it also. So the new plant varieties, if it is an rice in the name of IR20 or IR40, that is plant patent. But if we say Himachal's basmati rice or Tanjavur's punni rice, those are GI tag. So this is the difference between plant patent and GI tag, right? And those intellectual property which is formulated and started being in the discussion, and this importance came first from the TRIPS agreement and the Paris Convention and WIPO conventions, and these agreements made the countries to oblige and give the consent for all the patents. I mean, give the consent for all the countries to acknowledge the patent which is registered in one country and in another country. For an example, I made one design here. So let's assume I made this Zips design in India and I've registered it. Some foreigner used to come here and she just saw this design. And what if she goes there and make the same design and she used to start making money? But it was my design, right? It is an injustice when she does that. So before the availability of TRIPS agreement or Paris convention, so there were situations like that, and one registration is not acknowledged by another country. And after all of these conventions, so if it is registered in India, I can still claim that was mine, and there are process raised. So where we can register, how we can register, and who can register? Individuals, business organizations can register their IP rights. The inventors, authors, and companies seeking to protect their creations can register. And for legal protection, for having exclusive rights over the product what we have, and to increase the value of the product, and to enforce the legal compliances, this registration is mandatory. Here in India, the applications can be filed in Indian Patent Office located in Calcutta, Delhi, Chennai, and Mumbai, the four zones of India. And there are steps involved in registration. First, if I have a idea in my mind, we should conduct a research. We should conduct a search whether it was already done by somebody else. Just we need to make sure that. And we need to make an application, file the application, and it was submitted, and the submission will be examined by the authorities, and it will be published in the official gazette and in the famous newspapers. And if nobody is opposing it for the period of 90 days, then the patent certificate will be issued. So till this time, we have discussed many things related to IPs and its regulations. So, if you have any queries or questions, I'll be glad to take up. And I can see Mr. Sanjay Kumar is having a question and raised his hand.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
just a
can I
minute.
ask you something?
Yes, Mr. Sanjay.
Ma'am, monitoring the patents or copyrights for that matter
Mhm.
on an international basis, is it
Mhm.
not that it is not that difficult?
Can you please come again? I'm not able to catch,
I'm
Mr.
saying
Sanjay.
monitoring patents and copyrights on
Okay.
an international basis.
Mhm.
I think it is very difficult practically.
Yes, practically it is difficult. First, we need to register in India. If you are an
Mhm.
Indian, you need to register in India.
Mhm.
And once you have registered, you need to apply in another country. So practically, it is a time consuming process. But for that, we have one more option. There is it will take some time. Let's assume I'm registering here in India. The
Mhm.
application date is today. So application date is today, and it is taking 90 days, this waiting period, the application process for everything.
Mhm.
It's taking some 120 days max.
Mhm.
And after that, I need to make one more a similar process in another country
Mhm.
separately, and it will take some more time. What if one more person in the meantime just register there, or
Mhm.
claim that this was from their side? I
Mhm.
think that was the question. In this scenario, we have a legislation from the TRIPS agreement that
Mhm.
the first registration date, the first application date will be considered as the first one
Mhm.
for all the companies. I am making a registration here in India, and one in US,
Mhm.
one in China, and one is Russia, for an example.
Okay.
So everything has one year difference, and the product is same, and it was
Mhm.
copied by somebody else in the another country between these period. So between these period. So
Mhm.
if I claim, so the law will see the first date only.
Okay.
So the first Indian date is the date of registration, and it is applicable for all over the world. So we can do it. If there is any infringement, any copyright or patent infringement, the first date is considered as the date.
Okay, that is, ma'am, I just want to intervene. That is applicable all over the world.
Yes.
Okay, and I would just like to ask you, the law of which country is applicable, or is there some international law or some treaty law applicable in that case?
Yes, we have treaties related to that here. Just a minute, I'll just show you the slide. Here I've listed the TRIPS agreement, the
Mhm.
Paris Convention, and WIPO Convention. So, the TRIPS agreement, which is from United Nations, one of the bodies of United Nations, made this agreement. UN body
Mhm.
which regulates all this intellectual property.
Mhm.
UNIPO. So that institution has all this convention, and there are 196 countries who are all members of UN organizations, right? Whoever is who what are all the countries, whichever country is a member of that UN council or whatever, so they
Mhm.
are bound to this TRIPS agreement actually. So
Okay.
even if they are not a signatory, it will
Mhm.
comes under the regulation. And once, of course, we have ratified it, we have signed it, and we as signatories and ratified people,
Mhm.
we have our own trademarks act, patent acts, and trade secrets act,
Mhm.
and we have many more acts, copyrights act as well. So it will be considered. So, and there will be
Okay.
no international issues if it is
Mhm.
coming. Then for every country, so almost every countries which is independent is registered, is under the ambit of UN. Now United Nations Council,
Mhm.
Security Council, and United Nations councils, so it is available, it's applicable for everyone.
Okay, ma'am, another question which I would like to ask you, that
Yes.
in the case of patent, if I change the nomenclature of the patent, or am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes, Sanjay.
Yeah. If I change the nomenclature of the patent, or I make a small bit of innovation and I take a new patent, the basic things are the same. I make a small innovation and I change the nomenclature, the naming, I change it a bit and take a new patent. Is that done?
So that will comes under, actually we have a term called evergreening patent actually.
Mhm.
Every patent is for 20 years,
Mhm.
and the evergreening patent issue has came, if I'm not wrong, it was one of the pharmaceutical company.
Mhm.
They have, again, for not to losing their rights over the product, the fast selling product, a medicine,
Mhm.
they would like to have they would like to hold the patent by themselves.
Mhm.
Novartis, the pharmaceutical company Novartis. So it was a famous case, the Novartis case. So
Mhm.
that company wants to have their patent with them, and they
Mhm.
were not able to. They were not able to. I mean, they were, as it's ending in 20 years. It's about 20
Mhm.
years. So they just made a small change. It was a capsule, the medicine
Mhm.
capsule. They just made a color change in the capsule. Then they said that now we have updated it. Now we have updated the medicine, and again we need the patent. So the components inside the capsule is same, but they have just changed the capsule color. Previously it was white, and then it was red and white. Just the small difference.
Mhm.
So they just try to evergreen it, and the Supreme Court of India said it was not to be done like that, because unless and until it is not updated and it is not adding a value to the product,
Mhm.
it is not to be given. And it was also said in the TRIPS agreement, which is the basic document, and this was the pioneer of IP, which we can say the pioneer agreement of the pioneer agreement for all the intellectual property rights. So that
Mhm.
also says and makes this evergreening agreement, I mean evergreening the patent, as the invalid one and unlawful. So if we are updating small change and we are about to register that and if you want to do it again, and it was not given these days. Previously it was done, and those faults were made as defaults, and now it was not given. But we can
Mhm.
register for the design separately, but not for the medicine.
Okay, ma'am, last question I would like to ask you. It's a different question altogether. That the students who do PhD and all, and they write their thesis, right? And if somebody else later on does PhD and takes it from that thesis, there is a plagiarism kind of a thing. So, is there some copyright applicable? Plagiarism means what? This is the original work. That is, and then there is somebody who's taking it without referencing. There is a plagiarism. So copyright is the for thesis also.
Yes, copyrights is for everything out of our mind. If it is electric work or artistic work or whatever, so copyrights is for everyone. So if I am a researcher and I'm making a thesis and I have my own introduction, synopsis, and I found my own result, even
Mhm.
if it is a single quote which is generated by myself, is published.
Mhm.
It is published already, and it's just have IC ICANN number, it's given, which means we have the rights over our article for
Ma'am,
ourselves.
it is not published. The
No.
person has just written a thesis. he has got the PhD.
Yeah,
It's not published.
they have got the PhD, which means we have
Yes.
submitted already.
Yeah. And if somebody later on takes it and doesn't put it in the reference, he should give a reference. He has not put it. There is a plagiarism on it.
Yes, we can claim, we can sue them. We can claim for our thing. So the date of presentation, I mean, date of the thesis is prior, and if the
Mhm.
content is same and there was a plagiarism, we can sue them. It's legally valuable. I mean, legally, we can do
Right,
it.
in that case, obviously, the other person, the researcher who has taken it, doesn't get the PhD degree. That
Yeah.
is okay. And then it can be a case also on that, which might affect his career also. But I'm just asking you, is there some kind of a legal thing which can also happen to that guy?
Legally, we can ask them to give credits. First thing, there are things. There is a thing called suit for specific performance. We can ask them specific performance in the sense we can ask them to do this what I am asking for. So we can ask them to give credits. If I just wanted to take credits out of it, or if we can say them that this is mine, so you need to remove that. So that can also be that can also happen, and we can also file for copyright infringement. Even though we have not registered, we can register at the later period, because the date of creation matters. It's not the date of application in this case. So we
And
can
ma'am,
register.
another thing, that suppose I take an idea from any book, right? The idea and the main content just is same, but I change the language altogether. In that case, what
Yeah.
happens?
So if it is a different language, still the idea
I've
is
changed the words, I've changed the language, but the content and the information, or everything is the same.
it's a plagiarism.
It's a plagiarism.
Yes. It's
But
just a
then,
translation.
yeah,
This
but then that is something which is happening in the academic world, that they make changes in the language and it passes the plagiarism test. Turn it in or something, it passes through that because the language has been changed.
Yeah. So actually, that is we can't say, because those we can't believe in technology for plagiarism every time. If the person who is cross-checking the documents is unaware about the language before, maybe if he or she from the different place, and they might have not known the details. So of course it's a plagiarism, and there is a copyright infringement in this case. If we can able to prove it, we can sue them, but we need to prove it. It's
Right,
just
ma'am. Thank you.
literally a translation, no? So
Yeah,
the idea is same.
he's
Yeah.
just trying to avoid the plagiarism actually by changing the words and the languages here and there. Right,
Yeah.
ma'am? Thanks a lot. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express my hearty vote of thanks to our excellent, outstanding speaker, Ms. Akshay Gayatri Rao. Today, we got the opportunity to listen to an interesting and thought provoking discussion on intellectual property law. The amount of expertise and passion displayed by Ms. Akshay ma'am really enhanced our grasp of the intellectual property law. Ms. Akshay ma'am skillfully imparted her knowledge, leaving us with insightful conclusions and motivational concepts. Her interesting presentations captured our attention and motivated us to learn more. We appreciate the effort they put into preparing this enlightening session. So, is there any other question which you want to ask, ma'am? No
Thank you
one?
so much,
No,
Nida.
absolutely. Yeah, okay.
Please go ahead, Sanjay.
Okay. So I think no one. Once again, I express my gratitude and thanks to Ms. Akshay ma'am for sparing time from her hectic schedule to impart information to us. We are speechless by your invaluable presence at this session. You provided in-depth analysis of the subject and shared some fascinating information. We shall bide our time for further such workshops in order to advance both our personal and collective knowledge. Additionally, I want to thank everyone in the attentive audience for their smart questions and active involvement. This event is considerably more meaningful because of your participants. A good event never ends with in the world. They only take a pause and keep us awaiting for the next. All good things eventually end. I consider everyone as fortunate that they became part of this workshop, which was full of knowledge, which makes difficult to say goodbye.